like a question for Andy.
No, I've got it for both of you. In each of these plans, how do you plan to share it with the county commissioners? And is there a process, or are you looking forward to sending one up?
That's a great question, really.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, well, I did make one note here that I think was a very important thing that came up during our process, and it was our advisory committee that really pushed it. We work very well at a staff level, and I think that's been historically the case in exchanging plans and exchanging documents and what's going on. But one thing my advisory committee really pointed out, and it's a key in this area, we're villages and we're towns, but we all exist together, and we're all better communities because of our neighbors. And we all have challenges because of our neighbors. But one thing my advisory committee did that was really kind of neat is we had an evening at the Sunrise Theater, and Andy was gracious enough to come over along with Bill Zell from Aberdeen and Don Belk from the BRAC movement, and they actually gave presentations about what was going on with planning in their communities so that we could build our document in reference to what was going on around us. And we're currently working on a bicycle and pedestrian plan, and we're talking with Pinehurst and Aberdeen about their plans and making sure there's interconnection. So I think there's a lot going on sort of in the southern part of the county, really working toward that regionalism concept. I don't know that we've talked about exactly how to get this stuff in front of the county commissioners or what role they may or may not play in it, but I can say that one thing that came up, you've read in the newspaper the recent quarterly meetings, but right now they're monthly, that the county commissioners have begun to hold with the elected officials from each community in their effort to, I don't know if it's to replace the summit or supplement the summit, but one of the things that came out, Southern Pines mentioned it, Pinehurst mentioned it, I think Aberdeen may have, is we are all really looking to the county to begin to look at a county-wide planning effort, which isn't to say that the county comes in and plans Southern Pines or plans Pinehurst, but that the county develop a plan in recognition of all of the work that we are doing, because they do play a role in many of the services, schools certainly being one of them, water in Andy's case, sewer in all of our cases, so that we are at least on record with them and being interested in efforts that will put the countywide planning in the perspective of everything that we're already doing and what our citizens have said they want to see for the future of the community. I do know that the county has recently hired an individual and given them the title of long-range planner. I'm going to remain optimistic about that. I don't know where it will head, though, but there is some movement in that direction, and certainly if you'd like to add.
Just want to add what I think Don would be pretty familiar with, and a lot of it is that a lot of the challenges that Pinehurst faces as far as retaining the ambiance and preserving the character that we have and assuring that future development is congruent with all of that is making sure that our water and sewer utilities are adequate to support that. And that is a weak spot in our community right now, and something that we are constantly in communication with the county about, but it is a challenge to keep them focused on that. Granted, the county has a lot on its plate beyond water and sewer. I think they do have a need to do some countywide comprehensive planning, and I too am optimistic that they will. But our needs in Pinehurst as far as water and sewer services are acute, and it's going to be very difficult for us to maintain what is a first-class North Carolina community, without some support and assistance from the commissioners, especially on the water and sewer side. And so it's incumbent upon the village to continue to try to work with them and encourage them to make the investments that are necessary and that haven't been made to date in Pinehurst with regard to the water and sewer system, which Southern Pines and Aberdeen have done. They've over the last 20 years very consistently reinvested in their community's infrastructure, and their water systems show that. They're much more robust and capable than what Pinehurst has, so it's a severe need, and I hope that we're eventually successful, but we could always use the assistance of concerned citizens and groups to encourage the county to do the right thing.
Andy, what are your next steps for water with the county?
Well,
Repeat the question, please.
she asked what are the village's next steps with regard to water with the county? And we have shared some data with them of a study done of the village's extraterritorial jurisdiction, which mainly lies to our west, which is the most fertile well field in the area. And we've asked them, are they interested in the joint development of wells in that area with the village? Reportedly, they are thinking about it, but we haven't heard back from them on that yet. You might have known, I'm sure you probably did, that the village did investigate the acquisition of the Wagram water and sewer plants, and had conversations with Southern Pines and Aberdeen, who expressed some interest in being involved in that too. We tried to get the county interested in that at the time. They did not express any interest in that time, but since then, apparently they are now perhaps interested in pursuing that on a different level. Apparently not with the county, apparently it's not. They are now looking at that, apparently, with a few other regional counties of our region, with the assistance of Jamie Bowles. Hopefully that'll go somewhere. I don't know. And hopefully if it does, they'll involve the municipalities in it, especially the Moore County municipalities. But whether that will happen and if they will involve those municipalities, I think remains to be seen.
Is there a timeline or anything like that?
Not that the village has. If there is one, it's either at the county's behest or perhaps Jamie Bowles's. So we've also stressed to the county a number of times in writing what I've already mentioned, the need for them to reinvest in our infrastructure, especially in Old Town, where we have water and sewer lines in excess of 100 years old that don't meet modern requirements. And we're still waiting some action on their part in that.
Oh, my question was, you mentioned that the age is changing in Pinehurst. My assumption is you're getting younger. Is that correct?
That is correct, right. Between 1990 and 2000, our population grew from about 5,000 to 10,000 people, and half of those people were younger than 55 years old. Very striking.
We found that to be true. I live in Seven Lakes, which is not a hamlet or a village or, or anything, unfortunately, I think. But we find that we're definitely getting much younger, and when you start thinking about planning, that's one of the things that really has to enter into it.
I'm delighted to hear that regional is entering into it, because I've been following this very closely. And as you know, both of you know, and a good number of the people here, we need to think regionally and work regionally and not within the bounds of the county. Yeah. You're not responsible beyond the county, I mean the cities and the county, but we need to think regionally, and you know that, and I just want you to know there's at least one person that says, go for the region.